Hello YouTube, this is ChardarYuGiOh here with an update to my hero deck profile. I believe that this is still going to be my main deck next format. Obviously I'm building scraps and agents on the side, but I still think I'm going to keep this as my main deck because it's definitely the most proven competitively. And you know, I'm trying to get to regionals and do some more serious tournaments. If you saw a deck profile I uploaded about a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, I originally went with the rehash of the skill drain build, but that wasn't doing very good, and even before I remade it, it was having some consistency issues, and I just don't think it will be as good next format. So I completely redid it and started up a new version of it, which still runs the 3 Alias and Stratos, just duh. Also use 3 Thunder King Ryo, just because it's a very good meta call. It hits Gear Gaia, Prophecy, it hits a lot of the tier 1, tier 2 decks. It's very good anti-meta. Very good next format. Crusader of any minion stuck with this. I'm really liking this. It stops my Gemini Sparks from being dead, and they were dead quite a bit in the Skills Drain build. I really like that. Honest, I have a lot more light targets now. I think Honest is really good, so I brought it back. It's really unexpected too, because most hero decks don't run this anymore. So you can generally bait out some pretty good hits in your opponent. Like, they won't be able to predict this very easily. 2 Tour Guide, yes, I finally gave in. I'm running Tour Guide in the Heroes, but it's pretty good. Songon and Night Assailant over Tour Bust, because Night Assailant doesn't suck. If you really want to know more about that, I'll do a specific video on why Tour Bust sucks. 2 Effect Veiler, I think 1 would be dead. 3 is too many. I'm honestly just thinking about cutting this to 1. It's not as good this format, so I don't know yet. 3 Gemini Spark, it's a staple. 2 Recall, I have to use 2, and I don't know, I've thought about cutting this to 1 in the Skills Drain build, but I really like this at 2 here. Rhoda, no search card. 2 Duality, this is the biggest hit that Heroes took, was just, they can't really, 2 Duality, they make it a lot more difficult to get to their combo pieces, which is why I think the Tour Guide build would be the best build next time, because this build has additional power plays that don't involve combos. It has cards that can stand on their own. Control Miracle Fusion, that's kind of stable. 1 Super Poly, it's a -1, and it's kind of situational, so I don't want to main more than 1. I side another, but I'm only going to main 1 of this. Staples, MST, Heavy Storm, Dark Hole, Monster Reborn, and Book of Moon. Only 1 MST because I have Gemini Spark that can chain to most of their traps, so most of their traps aren't really a threat to me. 2 Torrential Tribute, just stun traps. 2 Bottomless, I like Bottomless over Compulse because actually Dark World is the worst matchup for me, and Bottomless hurts Dark World a lot more than Compulse would. And other matchups that I would prefer Compulse over Bottomless aren't really a threat to me anyway. 1 Deep Prison. I cite another one of these, but this is just for some additional removal. 2 Solemn Warning and 1 Solemn Judgment. So that's the main deck. Side deck, I have the 2nd Super Poly, 2nd Deep Prison, like I told you about. 2 more MSTs for really back row heavy decks. Obviously, I have the Gemini Sparks, but still, you never know. You might want more spell and trap removal. 2 Snowman Eater. Evolvers are still a threat. I don't know yet how big of a threat they're going to be, but Evolves are pretty big at locals, so I kind of like citing these. I might take them out, depending on how the meta shapes up. 2 Doom Caliber Knight, more effect negation, is pretty good. Like I said, Dark Worlds are one of the worst matchups for me, so I side the 3 Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, just to pretty much auto-win against Dark Worlds. It's still a tough matchup, but this thing will slow them down a lot. 2 Max C, windups are a pretty serious threat, and you never know when you go up against a spammy deck. I'm always pretty glad I have Max C. And finally, 2 Skill Drain, because I'm not maining the Skill Drain build, but you never know if you might just want to. I can slide into a Skill Drain build with this side deck, so it works out for me pretty well. Wait a minute. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15. Okay. Alright, and finally for the extra deck, I have 2 Shining. 2 Shining because I needed more space for Ixies, and I wasn't really going into 3 Shinings that much. Nova Master, Absolute Zero, Gaia, Tornado, and Escrodile, all my Super Poly targets. Lavier the Sea Dragon, which is my Banish Zone toolbox, which heroes banish their stuff a lot. You can get back Stratos, Alias, all kinds of stuff with this. It's very good. My main thing I go into a Tour Guide. Zenmien's just a very good, powerful play that I can make if I have to, If I need something to stall or I need some removal, Zen means it's a very good standalone play. Leviathan Dragon, just in case I need a beat stick. I don't really like this. It's situational, but I can't deny that there are situations I do want a beat stick. And it just gives me an additional tool that I can use for my tour guide. Utopia, staple, Maestroke, my favorite Ixies. Photon Pillar Operative, I really like this thing. It's a very good control card. It gets me around Spirit Reaper and stuff, which people tend to side against heroes because they don't run too much removal outside of Gemini Spark. Excalibur gets me over huge beaters. And something I'll point out, I do not run Blade Armor Ninja in this deck. Reason being, this deck is very much focused on controlling and tempo. This is not focused on OTKing. Blade Armor Ninja does absolutely nothing but OTKing. And it could be said that Excalibur is mainly an OTK card. That is very much true. However, I use Excalibur to get me over 3,500 and higher beaters. It doesn't happen very often, but you never know. You just might need to make a huge attack. So it's situational, but that's why it's there. And C39 Utopia Ray. Probably going to cut this for Evigishki Marrowgeist if I ever get one, because no one here has them and no one seems to be trading them on YouTube. But I might take that out for this, but right now it just saves my dead Utopia, which you never know, it can be helpful. And I have the space, so why not? So that is my new build of heroes. So if you have any comments or suggestions on that, just post them below. I like to hear them. Thumbs up the video if you like the build. I didn't neck deck this at all. This is completely my build, if you're wondering. Which is probably why it's not very good. But I really like this. I think it would stick with this deck or some variant of this deck for the rest of the format. So just let me know what you think, and peace out, YouTube.